Hi and welcome to tonight's tutorial. I'm Pam Wrigley and I am a bridal hairstylist, and tonight I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful low bun when you're working with thick, heavy hair. If you have any questions as we go through the tutorial, please just pop your questions into the chat box and I will do my best to get back to you straight away. Every now and again, I kind of glance at check the questions, but if you have to wait a couple of minutes, don't worry, I will definitely get round to answering the question. Hi Carter, good evening, I hope you're well. This is a style, actually, and the picture on the thumbnail is, let me just move that light a little bit, actually, and I think it might look a bit better. Oops, hold on 1 minute. Sorry about that, guys. That's better. Okay, hope that's a little bit better. The picture on the thumbnail was from a bride, Tizzy, that I worked with at the weekend. And she had really thick, heavy hair, and she wanted a lovely textured style. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Now, I've already done a little bit of the styling, but I'm going to talk you through the hair prep that I've done. Basically, I put some mousse in the hair, on Tizzy's hair, that is. It's a little bit different if you're working on a practice head, because quite often the hair is already quite dry. But if you're working with a practice head and it's quite a new practice head, you might want to get some mousse in there. So with Tizzy, I put some mousse in her hair, quite a bit of mousse, quite a generous amount of mousse through the mid-lengths, through the roots, the root, the mid-lengths and the ends, and then I blow dried the hair. And then I curled the hair. Hi, Caroline. And then I curled the hair using my 25mm Babyliss Diva tongs, sorry. But I've also they're like a goldy colour. But what I find when you use the gold tongs, or if you get any tongs that are white, what I find when you're using them alongside all this product that we put in the hair, that they kind of get stained really easily. So I have since bought some Babyliss tongs, which are black, and they're 24mm, and they're much better because they don't get stained. The kind of barrel of the tongue doesn't get discolored, so they just look a bit nicer. So basically, after you put the mousse in the hair and blow dried the hair, you're going to curl the hair, each section, rather than doing lots of texturizing with crimpers. I've noticed, especially if somebody's got really thick, heavy hair, you'd be doing it for ages. You spend a good hour or more just crimping the hair, but you really don't need to, because I've discovered this fabulous way of getting fabulous texture in the hair. So once you've got the mousse, then just curl it, but on the hair, use a strong hold hairspray. And I love the L'Oreal Infinium, and this is the extra strong. We actually have some new tutorials coming on the e-learning site showing how to do this really quick hair prep. So we've got 3 tutorials. I think we had one that went live this week showing a lovely kind of textured beachy wave, but using this technique, using the Infinium hairspray. So it means that you get this really long lasting curl or wave, but at the same time, if you're working with thick, heavy hair, you get this really quick, easy texture. So I've put a few twists in the hair here and created this lovely soft style, and then put a ponytail in the hair here. Let me just check my question. Sorry, thank you, Caroline. Caroline's just mentioned about the tongs. It really, once I bought the black ones, the Babyliss ones, it's kind of just looks better when you're using them, that they're not all stained and discoloured. So if you're buying some new tongs, definitely look for the black ones. And as I say, the Babyliss are 24mm as opposed to the Diva, which are 25, but it's a millimetre You can't tell when you're actually curling the hair. So what I've done here at the back is I have put the hair in a ponytail, then all the hair here, I've just curled it using the L'Oreal Infinium. So rather than using like a setting lotion, you could use a, like something like the Silhouette setting lotion. It's fantastic for getting a really strong curl. But when you use something like a setting lotion, because it's so wet on the hair, unless you're really careful and you let the hair dry, the hair kind of sizzles when you put the tongue on. And that's fine if you're working with your practice head, but not when you're working with your clients. So it's a bit frightening actually to hear your hair sizzling so close to your kind of ears. So I always try and avoid that. So you either have to let the hair dry if you're using setting lotion before you tongue it, or you could just go straight for a strong hold hairspray, which dries really quickly and has the same effect. So let me take these out. You'll see we've got a really kind of strong, it's almost crispy, the curl, but that's actually what we want. We actually want, and it's that crispiness that gives it that textured look. So it just means you don't have to, crimp the hair. You can just get the mousse in first, get some and blow dry, and it's just a rough blow dry. If they've got a lot of hair, you don't have to go section by section. You can just blast it dry. Always try and move the hairdryer in the direction of the cuticle. So you're blowing the hair kind of down the hairdryer, the air, I should say, from the hairdryer down in the direction of the hair. So you're not lifting the cuticle up to make it look frizzy and fluffy, but you just want to blast it dry. And then, let me just check our questions. Have a look. Yeah, so the hairspray, Caroline, the hairspray is instead of the setting lotion. And let me put my glasses on. Read this next one. Straightness to curl. No, if you were going to use the straightness to curl the hair, you wouldn't be able to use this Infinium hairspray. You could maybe put a little touch on, but I tend to be quite generous. But what would happen with the straighteners is I think they would stick. It's worth trying it though. Maybe if you do very small sections. So what I do is if I find that the straighteners are sticking on the hair, if you just take a step back and just curl very small sections of hair, you'll find it's a lot easier. So you could possibly use this hairspray with the straighteners, but if not, what you could do is curl the hair with the straighteners and then try putting a little bit of this on afterwards, or maybe a generous amount of this on afterwards, and just pinning the curl up whilst it's still warm so that it has time to kind of set a little bit. You could try it that way. I haven't tried that, but you could try it. So now, again, a nice easy trick, a nice little trick to make styling and working with thick, heavy hair a little bit easier. So I'm going to use a little donut. Now, normally on this color hair, I would use the blonde donut, but just so you can see what I'm doing today, I'm going to use the black one. So what I'm going to do is we've got our ponytail here, we've got our curls, and I'm just going to pull that ponytail and the curls through the donut. Now I'm not using padding here. I am specifically using a donut because, and it's a small donut, you can get much bigger ones, but she's already got a lot of hair and we don't need a bigger donut or else it's going to end up being a massive bun. And we want the style to look soft and relaxed. And because there's so much hair, if you don't use a donut, and you want it to be secure. So we can always get our styles to look soft and relaxed. But if it's for a photo shoot, all they're doing is walking on set, or, you're just taking your quick pictures on the phone. But if it's their wedding day, that style needs to stay in. So we need a nice anchor foundation for the hair so that you've got something to secure the soft curls to. So that's why we're using the donut today. Now, it's going to be really secure. It's not going to fall off because it's actually quite tight. But if you felt that it was a little bit loose, you could always secure it with a couple of hairpins. And we do have tutorials. We also have, as well as our tutorials that we do each week on YouTube, we also have an e-learning site. Caroline's a member. Thank you, Caroline. And so you can join us on the e-learning site, and we have kind of, hundreds of tutorials really close up and in detail. So if you want to find out exactly how to do something like securing the donut, then we've got lots of videos and tutorials on there. And also, as I say, we've just got a new tutorial that we've uploaded showing you how to work with the mousse to get that quick blow dry, and how to prep the hair using the Infinium hairspray. And we've got another couple of tutorials coming up as well, and that should be in the next kind of week or so. So keep an eye out on our e-learning site. And if you want any information on that, please just drop me a line. So let's now start creating this bun. So basically all you're going to do is pick up these curls, work with the shape of the curl. Let me just turn her around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And let me get my pins out, ready. So then, using my strong pins, basically all we need to do to get that really kind of textured look is just pull out the curls. It's that easy. It literally is that easy. And all you need to do at this stage is just use some of your strong hold pins like that. And just until you're kind of sure where you want it to go, you can just use these as little props, pushing them into the donut. And that is that. So keep that curl. Don't put your fingers through the curl or separate them or anything like that. You just want to kind of work with the curl that you've got. That's it. And then you can use the donut to secure, so it looks soft and gorgeous, but actually it's going to be super duper secure. I'm going to try, and I am not going to try, I am going to do this from the back here using my mirror just here. So hopefully it will look, I get a pin, hopefully it'll look okay. But the main thing is that you get the idea of exactly what I'm doing. And I'm using that foundation, that donut. I'm using the donut as a foundation, essentially. And don't just I kind of want this bun. I don't know if you can see that little bit of a gap there. So I want the bun to make sure it comes up to the neck. And remember, that donut comes all the way underneath here. So we can still secure the hair underneath, which then kind of makes it look like it's connected. It looks like it's sitting on the neck, but it isn't. It's actually just secured to the donut underneath here. And you could actually, I think you could, and then you can come back and pull and loosen. And if you know you're happy with where these sections are sitting, you could either push the pins into the donut, or you could get a bobby pin and kind of secure it to the back of the donut. So you go to the back of the curl where the hair is sitting against the donut and just pop a bobby pin across there. And it literally is that easy. So we keep our curls almost with the curls, the crispier, the better. I know it seems strange, and that's where the Infinium hairspray comes in, because then you can kind of get that lovely pulled out kind of textured look, like it looks like it's almost going to kind of fall apart, but it's not. It's all beautifully secure and gorgeous and anchored. Now, what we're going to start doing from next month, from November, on our e-learning site, because on the e-learning site we also have this one needs lifting up a little bit there. Can you see that? On our e-learning site, we also have there's a bridal hair course where you can sit your exams and get your qualification, get your certificate. And sometimes I think it can be difficult when you're learning at home and you're working at home. Sometimes it can be difficult to kind of to keep that motivation, to keep it going. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce, in addition to our YouTube tutorials, so don't worry, I'm still going to be doing our weekly YouTube tutorials, but we're also going to start doing some tutorials, live tutorials. I think we're going to do them on Teams, I think, where my students can join me, put in particular style requests, ask questions about their coursework, and we're going to work through section by section, different sections for each tutorial. We'll be working through hair prep in detail, working with padding and extensions, so basically anything to do with your bridal hair training specifically. So it'd be a bit like being at college whilst you're learning at home. So that will be coming in November, and we're going to do that on a Wednesday as well. So if you want to, you could join me for the live tutorial here and then join me again for the Teams tutorial. So I'm going to be busy teaching every Wednesday. Here we go. Now let's see what we're going to do with this little bit. And we're almost there to say this lady has a lot of hair. The only thing I'm struggling with now is that the bun's almost complete, I think. And now we've got to find somewhere to put this next section. And I might pin that up a little bit. Let me check our questions again. 1 minute, put my glasses on. Good question. Let's have a look. Yes, how did I learn so much about hair up? Well, you know what? I'm just stubborn. So when I started, initially I just wanted to do makeup. I wasn't really interested in hair at all when I first started. But when I went to college, we were told that if you want to be a makeup artist, and I originally wanted to work on kind of film sets and do fashion and stuff like that, and TV. And we were told that really you need to be able to do hair as well. And actually, to be honest, I was terrible at hair. And I kind of did it because I thought I had to. And then I discovered that I loved doing hair. If somebody had said that to me when I started training, I would not have believed it, because I literally was really anxious about doing hair. I thought it was rubbish. But the thing about me, what I'd used to do, because I started to do brides when I had my eldest, I've got 3 children. When I had my eldest one, I started to do a few brides and just discovered that I love working with brides. But then, of course, if they showed me a picture of the hairstyle they wanted, I used to kind of think, well, it must be possible. So I'd just work out, I had to kind of dig deep and work out a way of creating that style. And I think when you work on your own, as you do quite often when you're doing bridal hair, you kind of just find a way to work with hair. And I just learnt from working with lots of different people, lots of different hair types. And I just discovered that I was good at it, and I stopped. I think sometimes we are our worst critic. We look at our work and we think, it could be better. It's not good enough. And I remember there's a particular style that used to be very popular, this little kind of, talking kind of 25, 30 years ago, there's this little kind of Audrey Hepburn style. And I remember doing this Audrey Hepburn style on this lady with quite short hair, and it looked all kind of piecey. And I remember the photographer taking all these pictures, and I remember just thinking, God, I felt a bit worried about it because I didn't think it looked that good. But then when I look back at my pictures, I realized that the style was gorgeous. And I think sometimes we look at styles we create and we pick holes in it. We see all the things we don't like. But if you look at that picture again, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks later or 6 months later, you think, actually, you know what? You did really well. So when you first start, don't be too hard on yourself. It takes a while, but you will get there, and practice definitely does make perfect. Oops, I don't know if you heard that. Somebody's bibbing their horn outside. Let's see. Let me just check our... We are, Caroline, I agree. We're definitely our own worst critic, for sure. So I've learned to be kinder to myself. And once I started to accept, I stopped being so nervous about it when I realised I was actually good at doing hair. And now I love doing hair. Love it. So yeah, I didn't train to cut hair, so I'm not a hairdresser. I don't do cutting, I don't do colouring, I just style. And I love it. So don't feel you have to be good at everything. You know, some hairdressers just cut, some people just colour. We just style. Well, I just style. Okay, I think we might be almost there. She could do with a little bit of tweaking, maybe there. Could be pulled in a little bit, that could be lifted up a little bit. But literally, just while I've been chatting, I've just twisted those curls, pulled them apart a little bit, pinned them to the donut. Done. Lovely, soft, relaxed looking style for long, thick, heavy hair. Easy peasy. You can go in then and kind of push your pins in. And yeah, and you know what? I think when you are learning how to do hair, you might discover a new way of doing something. And you could write to me and show me and say, Pam, why don't you try this? Because until recently, until I tried this, I don't know what made me do it, try this and then curl the hair. Because before I was doing the mousse and the salt spray, the crimping, the curling. Don't need to. You can cut that time in half by using your mousse and using a stronghold hairspray and then curling the hair. And you get this lovely crispy curl that gives this lovely textured look. Easy peasy. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's tutorial. I think she looks gorgeous. I would probably come back and recurl these little side bits so you can get them to kind of fall away from the face a little bit and frame her face a little bit more. But essentially, we've got a gorgeous textured updo. Let me lift her a little bit like the one that I did for my bride, Tizzy, on Saturday. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope you can join me again next week. And if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. And I look forward to, if you have any particular styles you'd like to learn, please just drop me a line in our little comments box on YouTube, or you can check us out on Instagram at Create Beautiful Hair. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you again for joining me. Take care. Bye. Thank you, guys.